Keepunumuk, Weeachumun Thanksgiving Story by Danielle Greendeer, Anthony Perry, and Alexis Button, illustrated by Gary Meaches Sr. I love your garden this time of year, said Maple. Me too. What shall we pick for lunch? Nookamus asked. How about crab apples? Maple suggested. No, choke cherries, Quill shouted. Those are both good medicine, Nookamus said. How about some Weeachumun as well?
Yes, Maple replied. She is such a good big sister to Beans and Squash. The three sisters, they grow together, Quill added. You're right. They feed people all over Turtle Island, Nookamus said. And they have many stories to tell. Can you tell us a story? Quill asked. How about the time Weeachumun asked our Wampanoag ancestors to help the pilgrims? Nookamus replied. The first Thanksgiving? Maple asked. We call it Keepunumuk, the time of the harvest. Here's what really happened. One frosty fall morning, a long time ago, a large boat with white sails approached the shore. Seagull circled above the boat, squawking, "New people are coming! New people are coming!" Hearing the news, Weeachumun stretched her weary ears towards the sky. Who are these new people? She asked.
2 winters had passed since many of the first peoples who cared for the Weeachumun passed on to the spirit world. Those who were not taken by sickness found new homes to ease their heavy hearts and rebuild their lives. Weeachumun feared this winter would be her last and called upon the fox for help. Fox looked up at Weeachumun. Should we trust these newcomers? He asked. Stay close and watch what they do, Weeachumun told Fox. Fall turned to winter. Weeachumun and the other plants fell asleep. Fox watched the newcomers come ashore. He watched as they made their way into the forest. He watched them enter an abandoned wetu. He watched them take a cooking pot and basket of Weeachumun seeds. Don't take us away, the seeds cried. We are waiting for the first peoples to come back into the spring. To prepare our beds, we must grow first. But the newcomers could not hear the seeds. Their ears did not know the voices of the land.
The fox watched the newcomers build homes on top of an empty village. He watched as they searched for food, but they could never find enough to eat. Many of the newcomers lost mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters during the long, cold winter. The first peoples watched as well. News traveled fast among nearby tribes that newcomers had arrived. Nobody was sure what to make of them. For many years, others had traveled across the sea to hunt, fish, and trade. Some were friendly, and some were not. These new people seemed different. They were here to stay.
Winter turned into spring. The sun warmed the earth. The newcomers continued their search for food. Weeachumun awoke from her long slumber and thanked the Creator for another season. She and her sisters, Beans and Squash, pushed through the ground and reached toward the sky. Fox returned to share what he had seen. The newcomers are hungry, Fox told the 3 sisters. They took Weeachumun's seeds, but they didn't know how to help them grow. Other animals came to hear what Fox had to say. We should help, Weeachumun said. I agree, Beans said. Our home is their home now. I think we should too, said Squash. People help us grow. We must help, Deer said. We agreed to feed the people. In return, they care for the home we share. I wouldn't, said Fox. The newcomers don't know our world. Sometimes new people can seem scary, Rabbit said. The Creator tells us to help all living things. This is how the world works. Yes, Duck and Turkey agreed. It's settled, said Weeachumun. We will send the first peoples to help the newcomers.
Over the next few nights, Weeachumun sent dreams to the first peoples with a message. Bring me and my sisters to the newcomers. They are hungry and need help. The first peoples listened. Their leader, Usamikwan, visited the newcomers. He could see that they wanted peace. Weeachumun introduced the newcomers to Tisquantum.
Spring turned into summer. Tisquantum showed the newcomers how to raise Weeachumun and her sisters, beans and squash. He taught the newcomers how to feed fish and seaweed to Weeachumun to help her grow.
Soon Weeachumun's seeds pushed through the earth and climbed toward the sky. Beans wrapped around Weeachumun's strong stalks. Squash stretched her vines across the ground, keeping Weeachumun's bed cool and moist. Summer turned to fall. Weeachumun brimmed with food. So did beans and squash. Weeachumun smiled as the newcomers thanked Tisquantum and the first peoples for their help. Keepunumuk. The time of harvest has come.
The newcomers prepared a feast to celebrate the first year in their new home. They fired muskets in celebration. Boom, boom, boom. Weeachumun warriors and other First Peoples arrived. They feasted for 3 days. The meal changed both our lives and their lives forever. Many Americans call it a day of Thanksgiving. Many of our people call it a day of mourning.
That's different from what we learn in school, said Maple. It was Weeachumun and other beings of the land, sea, and sky who made the newcomers' harvest first possible? That's right, Nukumu said. This is why we pray before we eat. Well, what did the newcomers and our ancestors eat, Nukumus? Quill asked. Many things. Succotash, duck, turkey, rabbit, deer, lobster, fish, pumpkins, cranberries, boiled bread, and nasa, Nukumu said. All this talk about food is making me hungry, Maple said. Let's go make us some lunch then, Nukumus laughed. And we'll enjoy every bite, said Quill.
About the Wampanoag tribes. The Mashpee Wampanoag people live in the Cape Cod area of Massachusetts and call themselves the people of the first light. There were 69 Wampanoag tribes living in southeastern Massachusetts at the time the newcomers arrived. These settlers included religious separatists, later known as pilgrims, and traders who were the first to colonize the Wampanoag homeland. Colonization is when a group of people take land by force from another group to permanently live there and control resources. Colonization has had a devastating effect on all First Peoples. Today, the state of Massachusetts is home to only 2 federally recognized tribes, the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe and the Wampanoag tribe of Gay Head, Aquinnah.